I'm Jordy.
And I'm Steven.
And this is Thorndale Theater Talk. This is a podcast where we talk about movies, TV shows, and anything in the entertainment industry.
That is correct.
Steve-O talks in threes now. That's a new thing he does.
That is correct.
Only when he confirms stuff, not all the time.
That is correct.
So remember to follow us on Instagram at Steven Centrella, on Twitter at Thorndale Talk, our official Twitter page, at Kibbles312 and at Steven Centrella, our Facebook page, Thorndale Theater Talk, and our YouTube channel, Thorndale Theater Talk. Like, subscribe, comment, just a push of a button. I say it every episode. Is that you confirming it?
Yes.
Okay. And remember to listen to our 64 other episodes on podcast streaming services like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Breaker.
And wherever else you listen to podcasts, we're pretty much there.
Yeah. That's why I said like.
Yes. Right.
You did it like 4 times. That's kind of a throwback to Austin Powers with the Will Ferrell scene. But
yes.
Ask the question 3 times.
Ask the question. It's really annoying.
Damn it, 3 times.
3 times. No, because then you started a new line of questioning.
That's so great.
And I'm just trying to get some information from you.
Oh, great movies. All right, Steve-O, what'd you watch this week?
My movie this week that I watched was Woman in the Window. That's the one with Amy Adams, Gary Oldman, Julianne Moore.
Gary Oldman's in it too?
Yeah, Wyatt Russell, Anthony Mackie.
So, great cast. Let's begin with that.
Yeah, it was a great cast. You know what? I think the reviews are just a little harsh. It was a solid movie. Like I wouldn't say it was like it didn't blow you away or anything, but like it was interesting. It had a story. It told the story and did a good job of it. Like it's what I guess I went with no expectations, and I got
average.
I got a McDouble. So.
I like McDoubles,
So that's
like
what I mean.
So you like the movie, or was it like average, or is that
like,
too harsh of a rating to go on to it?
I'm sorry, fine. I walked in with zero expectations, not expecting to get anything, and then someone gave me a McDouble, like $1 worth of something.
So scale 1 to 10, what would you rate it?
I would give it a solid 5.5, 6.
It's like
It was like, again, I wasn't like upset that I watched it.
Yeah.
So basically, what the movie is about, this woman who's agoraphobic. She doesn't leave her house. And she has new neighbors that come into the street, and she witnesses something with the new neighbors. But since she's agoraphobic and she also has other issues going on because of traumatic past, people think she's just losing her mind and she's going crazy and her meds are not right. So it's this constant her second guessing herself. She believes what she's seeing, but at the same time she's freaking out because she thinks it could be her meds. So it's a kind of like back and forth kind of thing, which, like I said, is very interesting because you don't know what it's going on at the same time you do, if that makes sense, because you don't know if this is all in her head or
right.
or if it's actually happening. And I think the movie does a good job of that too, with her like the moment when she starts losing losing the fritz. So. And it does a good job of showing that some of it's in her head and other parts that are not in her head. So that's what I mean. It was a very it was good. It wasn't amazing. Would I watch it again? Probably not. I watched it once. I'm good with the rest of my life. But definitely worth checking out, I would say. If you're looking for something new to watch and you're going through everything on Netflix and you haven't seen it yet, I would give it a watch. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Not I think, like I said, I think the reviews are kind of harsh, because I know, so the Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 25%. If I had to change that, I'd put it up in the 50s. Worth watching, sure. IMDb, I think, right rating, 5.7, maybe 5.8, but yeah, right around there. So definitely check it out. Give it a watch if you're looking for something new to watch. So that's my review for Woman in the Window.
And
yes, what were you gonna say?
I mean, in my opinion, I wouldn't watch it if you had a 5.8. In my opinion, but sure. We're all entitled to our own things.
You're a snob. It's okay.
I am a snob.
You're a snob.
Is that a bad thing?
Yes. You're not open to new experiences.
I am open to new experiences. I watched Jack and Jill even with a 4% rating going into it.
See, even I wouldn't watch Jack and Jill, so I
I didn't go to the theaters and watch it, and it's not even more of a defense. It's just like it was on TV, and I was probably like bored. This was a while ago, like a long time ago.
I'm really questioning your judgments now.
I mean, like, it was on. I love Adam Sandler. As horrible as his movies can be sometimes. Like,
I'm really questioning your judgment now. Just keep that in mind. So what was your movie of the week?
First of all, you've always questioned my judgment. My movie of the week was Sling Blade.
Sling Blade. Do they sling some blades?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's with Billy Bob Thornton. He wrote and directed it. It came out in 96, I believe. He plays a person who had a pretty troubling past. I'm not ruining anything. It's literally the first 5 or 10 minutes they tell you. I mean, he has kind of a troubling past. He murders 2 people when he was a child, and like when he was around 12 or 13, goes into a mental institution, a mental hospital. He gets released because of, I think they just pretty much believe he just has learned everything, and he's kind of come to God. He's become a vowed, very religious person. He reads the Bible, he says a lot, and then it kind of, as he gets released, he kind of rehinges his past a little bit in some memory, without giving away. He like meets a family. That's all I'll say. It got very good ratings, so I guess expectations were mid to high because of this was the movie that made Billy Bob Thornton like his first like holy crap thing. Yeah. He was very good in it. I will say that he was a very good actor. I should have looked up if he got nominated or not, but I'm pretty sure he did. I don't even know if he might have won. I don't think he did, but he might have won. I thought it was all right. I liked his performance. I liked all the performances. The directing was strange at times. It kind of was very samey. It's hard to explain without telling you like certain story, like
details. Gotcha.
Yeah, there were some conversations that happened, and then there was like this music in the background, but it would last like awkwardly too long, and you're like, all right, it's a little too much. I mean, I think it's worth a watch. Don't get me wrong. It got an 8.0 on IMDb. I'd probably personally give it a 7, but that's still pretty solid. Like, it's not a bad movie in any regards. It's just, I guess, my going into it, I had a little bit higher than maybe I should have, but I'd recommend it. He was very good in it, so that's my assessment.
That's your assessment.
That's my 2 cents. As
all right,
you were about
2
to
cents.
say. All right, Steve-O. What's your movie of the week for this upcoming week?
So my movie for the week, this upcoming week, is going to be the new Conjuring movie. Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. It's the 3rd movie of this series. It is on HBO Max, as well as in theaters. I think for this one, I will watch it on HBO Max, just because I just don't have time to go to the theater this week. But, yes, I'm going to watch this brand new movie. And I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm a big fan of the first 2 movies. So we'll see what the 3rd one's got in store for me. I think between the first 2 movies, I think the first one's the best. So I don't think... We'll see what happens with this movie. But I'm excited. So yeah, it's going to be on the maxes of HBO. Then, like I said, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Ooh.
What was that supposed to be?
It was
like a ghost, and then the clicking sound threw me off completely.
Because devils do things in 3s? Like, would this be better? That's gonna be my week this week. So what's gonna be your movie this week?
I'm speechless.
Yeah.
My movie of the week this week is going to be Snatch, which is Guy Ritchie film.
Yes.
One of his first ones, or I guess one of his bigger ones. It came out in 2001.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
It's with Brad Pitt and Jason Statham.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't confirm it in 3s, though.
Nah, I'm running out of 3s.
Yeah, you're done. You're running Threes. It's about a diamond heist gone haywire, launches gangsters, bookies, and a dog on a rollicking ride through the rugged world of bare-knuckle boxing in search of the missing stone. So, it's a comedy. It kind of... I never saw The Gentleman. I know you did. It kind of has that type of feel toward it where it's kind of like it's a pretty... I mean, it's intense in the way of gangsters and there's probably killing and shooting, but they do it in a very comedic way.
Right.
So, I'm excited. I love Brad Pitt. He's the man. So, it's on Amazon Prime, but you have to rent it for $4.
You gotta spend money this week, huh?
I'm going to spend money this week, Steve-O.
All right.
But I'm looking forward to it because I really wanted to see it. So, that's my movie of the week. And Steve-O, a little show premiered on last Wednesday.
It did. Loki. Loki. I mourn for you, Loki. That was my Thor.
It's actually not terrible.
Yes.
Not bad.
Thank you.
Not bad.
Thank you. You just gotta put your voice really deep.
Yeah, you should tell Chris Hemsworth about that.
Well, he speaks like that, so.
Yeah, I know.
Well, anyways, yes.
But
So
yeah,
the first episode of Loki. First episode. So, Jordy, what your initial thoughts? First episode of Loki.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
It's the best first opening episode of any of the series so far. That's just, obviously you're comparing just 2 other episodes, so it's not like an entire series, but first of all, I want to know who did the score of this show because the score is freaking incredible.
Yeah.
I like the trailers were already amazing, so I'm like, oh, this show's got guts and it's got that feel of like, the mysterious yet awkward ways of Loki. Like the more mysterious ways, but he has like still of like a can't trust the guy.
Yeah.
It's his rapport with Owen Wilson and Jesus Christ, Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
They're their collaborative performance is so good. Like they work so well together. I thought all right. Spoilers. So wait 2 seconds. Forgot to do that.
1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
So when they were talking in that room for it was a good a 5 to 10 minute scene. It was just basically going through. It's literally going through Loki's character development from it was only from the first movie to Avengers first one because that's the Loki because the other one died, but it's just crazy that because he has so much depth in his character because you know that there's that little bit of he actually gives a fuck about people.
Yeah.
But he masks it all of saying no, I want to rule the world because he really does, obviously.
Yes, he does.
So I don't know that the fact that you're going through it. Owen Wilson's so good. I think he's the perfect Mobius of just that, I know literally everything about you.
Yeah.
Type of a way. I really liked it. I'll let you speak now.
One thing I really liked about it was the expanding of the world, really, because it's just showing you what the Avengers did is almost nothing. I find it interesting
because that's supposed to happen, kind of a thing.
Yeah, because that's supposed to happen. So it's
yeah.
Well, that and I find that really interesting because they built that up for so long, and it's what they did was so amazing. But then it's showing this show that's it's supposed to happen. That's what. And then I love also that the whole Infinity Stones goes oh yeah, we use these as paperweights.
I know that's Tom Hiddleston's performance there is holy shit!
Because he's realizing
there's someone bigger than Thanos here.
Just Thanos, just bigger than what the
world knows.
They know that this is beyond everything.
Even beyond Asgard, which is already
beyond everything.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, it's just I think that's what blew my mind, and also just but watching Loki's reaction to that was also just so good too. So I think that's what my big first takeaway in this episode is just how bigger they're making this world, but then how they just also they kind of belittled what happened.
They did.
Which was it blew my mind because they built that for so long, and then you watch this episode, it's just okay, what they did was just there's something bigger.
And the hunter that they're hunting is I mean, we still haven't seen his face. We're assuming it's probably him, but it's him in a different timeline.
Exactly.
And the cool part that I just all of a sudden thought of is, in the beginning it was like 1547, wherever the year was where Owen Wilson was, and wasn't that supposed to be Loki that killed him? Because that was like the big...
Something like that.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was like a other random... But, like, I want to know which Loki did that. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. The series has already gotten, like... So, like, they already told you who the villain is.
Yeah.
And they told you what they have to do. And there's still 5 more episodes left.
That's why
it already hits off with a bang and be like, oh my god. And it like you said, it expands the whole universe and expands the whole Marvel universe, showing, we all know that this is basically the beginning of that big event that they're going to do for this next, whatever the fuck phase is. It's like, there's the whole Doctor Strange is called Madness Multiverse or something like that? Multiverse of Madness. And they literally explained the multiverse that first episode. Of like what it is.
That's what I mean. That's what's going to be a very just like I said. This was probably, I would agree with you when you said this was the best first episode of all the like Marvel series we've seen so far. WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. I would agree with you. This is like for all the first episodes from each of those series. This one's clearly the best. And so first episode.
Yeah. Obviously, and it just feels, this episode also makes you feel like there's not going to be a beat that's going to stop. It's just going to be a continuous ride for 6 straight episodes.
That's what I'm hoping for, but we'll see.
But we don't know. Yeah, I know. I'm jumping the gun. I'm obviously jumping the gun. But
they definitely hit with a bang, for sure.
Yes, I thought, and man, that score is so good.
Yeah.
That score is so good. But yeah, I mean, highly recommend Marvel as usual. So
yes. Definitely check out this show if you haven't yet. Check out all the other Marvel shows. I think you definitely should watch all of them. They're definitely all good and worth watching.
Yeah.
So I think after we finish Loki, like the series, we gotta like take a moment to compare all 3.
Yeah, we should do that. At least because I mean, there's gonna be a crap ton more, but as of right now, because then
the big 3.
Because then the next one's Black Widow for the movie. That's the next.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
the
talking about show-wise.
No, I know, but that's the next like Marvel thing that's gonna be coming out.
So that was the review on Loki. So stay tuned. We'll be on the lookout for next week's episode because we'll review episode 2 of Loki as well. So in the meantime, we will get into the news. Jordy, where do we get our news from?
We get our news from a little site called ScreenRant.com.
That is correct. We get our news from ScreenRant.com. All right. So first big piece of news. So Jack Black is going to be the last guest on the Conan O'Brien show. So Conan O'Brien is ending his show, as we talked about before. Mm-hmm. And so Jack Black's going to be the last one. Yeah, I mean, after 28 years of hosting shows, Conan O'Brien. So I don't know. I don't even know what to say to that.
I know. I hope they do a huge tribute to him too, like how they did with Letterman. Although it's a little different because Letterman actually, although he retired and then came back on that Netflix show that he has.
Yeah, was he? Yeah, he was doing interviews.
He does interviews for the Netflix show. So, but still, though, it's like a network television show. I think they should do a big one for Conan. But it's cool that it's Jack Black, but it's just weird because I mean, I wish Conan was on the late night show. Nothing against Jimmy Fallon at all, but it was just set up for him.
It was, and Jay Leno and the whole works. But yeah,
Conan still seems pretty happy. So
hey, what does he have to complain about?
I know he literally owns rights to everything. He can literally do whatever he wants. I remember that was a big interview once he started the one in TBS. He's like, we own the show, so we can literally do anything. I mean, obviously with the parameters of network television, but
right.
So yeah,
right.
I mean, congrats to him though.
Congrats. Well, that's gonna be a very interesting last episode. Also, out of all people, Jack Black.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
Out of all people,
he's such a lovable guy. So
that's what I mean. I think both of them that's just a good way to end. So.
Yeah.
All right. Next piece of news. So Anya Taylor-Joy and Ralph Fiennes are casted in a horror film, The Menu. So that's a very interesting. Title, The Menu.
Yeah, I mean, Anya Taylor-Joy basically one of the biggest actresses right now, or at least on the rise, whatever you think is going on with her, especially with Queen's Gambit. She was in Split already before that, and Queen's Gambit got her like the recognition she deserved.
She was also in New Mutants.
Oh yeah, I never saw that, but
I saw it. She was the highlight in that.
Yeah. And then she's all like, I'm in the. I think the most hype. One of the most hype movies for me is the Edgar Wright movie that she's gonna be in. She looks very good in it.
Yeah.
And then now another horror movie, and with Ralph Fiennes, who's already an established, in my opinion, an amazing actor. So.
Yeah, that he is. So.
It's exciting news.
It is exciting news. And other exciting news. Oh, this one I'm excited for. Jordy, you take this one.
Mike Myers will play 7 characters in the new Netflix show. Oh man, if I can pronounce this word, I wish I could. The Pentaverate?
The Pentaverate.
Totally said it wrong, but we're just going to go with it.
Yes.
The Pentaverate. So Mike Myers hasn't done anything like this since Austin Powers, which is over a decade ago.
Yeah.
So, big news. We don't know. This is just from obviously ScreenRant.com. We don't know if he's writing it, directing it, if he has say in this creative show, but he's in the lead and he's playing 7 characters, so I'd safely say he is pretty heavily involved into the show.
It's still early because
it's very early.
On IMDb, it's just mentioned that the show is happening. That's all.
Yeah,
that's
and
all
that he's mentions. In it. That's it.
Yeah, so it doesn't say who's writing, who's directing, who else is
who
in it.
Who knows when this is going to come out.
It's still in early stages, really early stages, but it's also just cool to see that Mike Myers is, he's kind of making another interesting show with 7 different characters he's playing. So
as much as we all would love, there has been talks of an Austin Powers 4, not that there was, but a rumor filled for, I'm not even kidding, I think it was for the decade, the longest time in IMDb, if you search his name, it still says Austin Powers 4 as I wouldn't even say in development, it's more of one of those mentions maybe.
Yeah,
that's never gonna happen, and I kind of hope it doesn't, just because the 3 are just perfect.
Yeah.
And that you just want him to maybe do something like this, where it's something new and fresh.
Exactly.
So,
it's still him doing multiple characters, but
right.
It's different characters, different show,
right.
Which I'm cool with. I would agree with that.
Right.
Because if you add on,
I mean, I would love it. Don't get me wrong, but the pressure to make a 4th one is just on an all-time high.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
That is very true. Speaking of comedies doing sequels,
this is a great segue.
Yes. So Kingpin 2 is in development from original directors, the Farley brothers. So the 1996 bowling comedy with Bill Murray, yes, and why am I blanking on his name
it's
right
Dennis
now?
Quaid's brother, right?
No, my God, why am I blanking?
It's Randy Quaid.
That's not who I'm thinking of.
But he's in it though.
Sure, but freaking, why am I blanking? He was on Cheers. He was on Zombieland.
Woody Harrelson?
Woody Harrelson, thank you. Why was I blanking on his name?
I completely forgot he was in it. What the hell's wrong with me?
Woody Harrelson and Bill Murray, yes. So Kingpin 2 in development right now from the Farley brothers. I don't know how I feel about this. Well, I do know how I feel about this.
And that's your answer.
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about this.
Well, my also initial feeling with any comedy sequel that is that's happening
honestly
2-3 decades later, it's just it will not do well. I'm sorry, it won't. When we got Anchorman 2, that was over 10 years later. Coming to America 2, almost 20 years later. With these comedies that are, I'm cool with doing comedy sequels if they're in the right time period, but when you do these comedy sequels that are so 15 years later, it doesn't have the same spark.
I know, I agree.
It doesn't have the same spark.
It's weird, especially coming out with a sequel in general, a while later. I mean, the only thing that comes to my mind was that Toy Story 3 was a pretty long.
Sure, but animated.
I know, it's more different.
Those are different because
more
Incredibles.
You're right.
Incredibles
You're completely
2,
right. You're completely right.
Because
Pixar. I mean, Pixar is one of the most trustworthy development.
When it comes to anime, that's more tough. But
yeah.
These comedy sequels, I would say honestly, the best
No, I think this is tougher than animated films.
What do you mean?
You said animated is more tough.
Development to develop.
A sequel is more tough.
To do the animated work.
Yeah, sure.
like that's why it takes longer to do.
No,
those
no, oh,
sequels.
no.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, no, but not a lot of sequels take 10 years.
No, but
that's
again,
more of like they didn't really have a story until it was developed later. It wasn't really the animated work.
Animated work does take longer. So
no, it does take a long
that's
time.
That's why those sequels typically could take longer.
Yeah.
So that's why that's more understandable.
Sure.
But when you see something like this.
Yeah, no, I'm more than okay. And Farrelly Brothers already did a sequel to a movie that came out a long, long time ago, Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
They did Dumb and Dumber 2. I never saw it. Heard it wasn't that great.
It was awful.
Yeah, so...
But that's what I mean, these comedy
No,
sequels.
I know, I'm agreeing with you. Kingpin's so... I loved Kingpin. The first one's great.
Yep.
And so, I mean... Who knows if I'm going to see this. I guess I only judge sequel comedies to Rotten Tomatoes or reviews beforehand because I have no interest in... And even... I mean, Anchorman 2, I think, got not bad Rotten Tomato scores. I think it was in the 60s, which for me is worth a watch. And I watched it, and I have my own opinions toward that. But
like there were funny scenes, don't get me wrong, but overall as a movie, I would agree.
Didn't need to be made.
No, exactly. But that's Zoolander 2.
Oh, don't stop it.
But that's
okay.
what I can go on tangents.
I know.
How many comedy sequels there are that are so bad. Like I can only think of I can only think of a handful that are good.
22 Jump Street.
But
that was made.
But that was good because hold on. Because there was like a small window.
It was like 2 to 4 years.
2 to 4 years apart. Perfect.
And they were like, obviously, I think Jonah Hill was probably pressured to make, or not pressured, but they were like, can you make this? We'll give you money. And then he was like, fine, but we're just going to joke about how it's all going to be the same thing.
Exactly.
And it's very meta.
And they do good with it too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But otherwise, yeah.
Sorry, we went on a tangent on that.
But yeah, so let's just recap. Kingpin 2 in development.
Yes.
From original directors, the Farrelly Brothers. So we'll see what happens more with that while it's in development.
Yep.
All right, next piece of news. Jordy, you could take this one.
You asshole. Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan. It's either Kazan or Kazan. She was in, oh my God, the one with Kumail Nanjiani.
You got me.
The Big Sick.
Love Stick.
That's The Big Sick.
The Big Sick, you're right.
The Big Sick. She was in that to star in Harvey Weinstein investigation movie. So Carey Mulligan and Zoe Kazan will star in She Said, a film about 2 New York Times reporters who broke the story of the Harvey Weinstein sex scandal.
I think it would be an interesting movie.
Yeah.
It'd be like Bombshell.
Yeah.
Very cringy, based on real life. So that's why it's very cringy. So, but it's what happened. So.
And 2 good actresses.
Yeah.
2 very good actresses.
So again, I would watch this movie when it would come out for sure. Again, like I just said, like with Bombshell, based on true events that are very cringy, but it happened. So it's just putting more awareness out there for sure. Well, next big piece of news, another Queen's Gambit actor. So the Pale Blue Eye has casted Harry Potter star as Edgar Allan Poe. So Harry Potter star, who's also in Queen's Gambit.
Harry Melling.
Harry Melling is going to be playing Edgar Allan Poe in a new series, The Pale Blue Eye. So.
I thought it's a TV series?
Yes, I believe it is.
The Pale Blue Eye. I mean, Harry Melling, Dudley in Harry Potter. He was good in The Queen's Gambit.
Yeah. He's also, like... It's funny to see him in these, like, newer roles because, like... Again, it's one of those kid actors that also was, like... You grew up watching and now he's doing all this cool stuff.
I think it's a movie.
It's a movie? Oh,
yeah.
Too bad.
It's also Christian Bale's.
Christian Bale's in it. It's a movie.
Yeah. So... Yeah, I mean... I'm interested. I think he was really good in Queen's Gambit, so... We'll see how that movie goes, and I mean Christian Bale. There's no need to be said about him. So
yeah, amazing actor there.
Already.
A movie about Edgar Allan Poe too.
I'm very interested. It's very interesting.
That's like one thing that like definitely caught my eye about that is because like, very interesting. All right, next piece of news: Matilda stage musical adaptation is set to release on Netflix for December of 2022. So we mentioned. Some of it before with the casting of people who's being casted for this adaptation of a musical of Matilda. Yeah, so the movie will be coming out December of 2022. So we got like over a year. We got about a year and a half before this movie comes out.
Yep.
So yeah, be on the lookout for that. That's going to be hitting the Flicks of Net. The Net of Flicks. All right. Next piece of news. Bernie Mac biopic in development from John Legend's production company. So the comedian Bernie Mac, R.I.P., great guy. They are currently working on a movie based on his life. So we'll see another cool biopic of a great comedian. You know what? We still need to see a biopic of Chris Farley if they're going to do Bernie Mac. I'm just thinking more comedians.
No, you're right.
Yeah. So,
yeah, they should. There's a lot of people that they should.
Yeah.
Biopics will never end, which not is a bad thing. It's just
because
there's so many interesting people people with
great stories.
Yeah, and either just passed away or sadly passed away, and then
because I feel like Chris Farley definitely has a great story. I've seen like his documentary, Chris Farley documentaries, and I like they're so good and so interesting because he was such a lovable guy, and he's just. But yeah, same with Bernie Mac, just such a lovable guy. You want to just watch to see how he got to where he was. So
I agree.
Yes. Next piece of news: Owen Wilson and Michael Pena casted in a superhero film from Thor Ragnarok writer. So the actors Michael Pena and Owen Wilson have been casted for it's a Paramount superhero film from the director who directed Project Power and from one of the writers from Thor Ragnarok. So got two big name actors who also are part of the Marvel series.
Yep.
Like
they are Michael Pena for Ant-Man.
And then Owen Wilson now with Loki. So that's one thing I found very interesting with this article because not only just two great actors, but two actors who have been in the superhero game so far. So, and then also, the Project Power movie was solid. So
you liked it?
It was solid. Like,
it was solid.
Kind of like how I felt with Woman in the Window. I watched it once. I'm good for the rest of my life.
It's not really selling it for people.
Well, I'm just telling you.
Just so you know.
Just being honest.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, any thoughts on this?
I mean, love Owen Wilson, love Michael Pena. I don't really have anything else. Just I guess I'm excited for however this movie is going to end up.
Yeah.
And I think that
is it.
Yep.
That's all the news we have for you today, and that wraps up this episode of Thorndale Theater Talk.
Remember to... What were we supposed to do? Oh, follow us on Instagram at Steven Centrella. I just blinked out for a sec.
Oh my God, man. Continue.
I blinked out. My God, man. Follow us on Instagram at Steven Centrella. On Twitter at Thorndale Talk, our official Twitter page. At Kibbles312 and at Steven Centrella. Sorry, I just had a little...
We get it. Continue.
Lost. And remember to follow us on our Facebook page, Thorndale Theater Talk, and our YouTube channel, Thorndale Theater Talk, to like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you like to hear. You probably want to see Steven's unbelievably beautiful face. He's smiling right now, but you'd only be able to see it if you watched it on YouTube. On our YouTube channel, Thorndale Theater Talk.
Damn straight.
Damn straight. And remember to listen to a new episode every single Tuesday on podcast streaming services like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Breaker. Or, as I mentioned just a second ago, if you want to watch it, it comes out at the same exact time on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, Thorndale Theater Talk.
That's right.
That's right. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.